Hello everybody, welcome back. No, I do not currently own a Marshall. This is a rental from Jinner, so I can show this off. I really wanted to just kind of make this video to go over some of the event here, some opportunities there were, and if you guys have chosen to go for a Battleship box, why I think the Marshall Star Melody is the single best choice you can ever make. Especially if you're a PvE guy like I am. Even in PvP, Star Melody can be very useful, but not for combat necessarily. Just to hold people there. Slow them down, get them killed. So, let's start with the event. Over the last few weeks, let's see, it's been 3 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. We have gotten the Interstellar Bazaar opened up. We have received discount coupons every week. Let me find one set here. Interstellar Weekly Gift. Yep. So these are the discount coupons. They are 50% off coupons. This is more of something. This is only to be used in this store here, where it says Interstellar Bazaar. All of these items can be half off. So if you want a purple implant, that's 600 Aurum. Probably the second cheapest purple implant we've ever seen. Hi Jinner, hi Raisin. How you doing today? So, definitely, like, these coupons make getting some of these items, like the advanced implants and the purple implants, really, really cheap compared to what you would ever see them at normally. Of course, you always have the option of, like, grinding them out with ISK, and that's fine. Or you get maybe a little lucky in Dormant Realm, and maybe you get a gold implant, but if you just need to get yourself into a gold implant, and you have a little bit of cash to spare, spending, what is that, 20 bucks, 50 bucks, yeah, it's like 35, 40 bucks, to get yourself a gold implant. Not the worst choice, if you're asking me. I think it's a decent deal. Like I said, this kind of price you don't see everywhere. And we've only seen one other event recently that has had even cheaper prices than what you see here. Unfortunately, that has come and go. I did make a video on that, though. Um, my take on the current nanocore is that it's really good for same tier PvP. I don't see it being very useful in PvE or like in a fleet combat kind of capacity. The nanocore just isn't quite there. It initially looked really good, but when we learned about the limitations where this nanocore's activation will not affect ships of a smaller size, it pretty much killed the nanocore. It's really, really quite powerful if you are going against same ship size combatants. But otherwise, if you're trying to hit up, I think it will apply to ships bigger than you. And that could help you out a little bit, but if you're doing that, you're already probably in a fleet most of the time. But if you're trying to hit down, like a battleship trying to hit a cruiser or frigate or destroyer, it's not going to apply those debuffs. And that is the one reason why I do not recommend the current nanocore, which is the Snow Shard nanocore. It's just not that great, unfortunately. The bonuses that it gives are not bad by any means, but I would not call it good compared to other nanocores. I would rather personally choose something like Cyber X would be a better choice. Getting that extra mid slot can be extraordinarily powerful on some battleships and cruisers and frigates and destroyers. Cyber X is by far way better than Snow Shard in a lot of ways. Now, as for things like the Lucky Material Supply, this one's quite nice if you're trying to get your gold nanocores. At half cost, you're at 800 Aurum. That will get you... What is that? 200 Tesseract cores. Whereas on the standard market, if you're looking for it, let me see if I can find one here. It was... not that one. Is it the Intelligent Nanocore? So, 60 for 480 Aurum. So, really good deal on the Tesseract Core, Amethyst Core box. Really, really good value. I don't think I would recommend any of the level 4 stuff. This is probably like the only chance you're gonna have every 4 to 6 months to get level 4 databanks and stuff, but you could also just be getting it from your Concord Pass if you're not using your Concord Pass for money. So, I can't say that I would recommend this in any way. It's a little bit expensive, especially when you have a free option available to you. This one here, no, absolutely not. If you need some ISK, it's not bad. But if you're looking for ISK, the only one I would recommend is the gravitational wave graphs. They're extraordinarily cheap at 50 Aurum, and you can buy 10 of them every day. You can really stack up a lot of ISK by getting these. And if you choose to run like 30 or 50 of these, you're gonna end up positive more often than not. The more of these wave graphs you have, the better off you'll be if you're trying to run them. But if you just want to outright sell them, normally they go for about 1.3 to 1.4 billion. On the market right now, the market has crashed since this event. It did go down to about 790 million for a very, very short amount of time. And then it's slowly been rising back to that 1.3 million, or 1.3 billion cost. I expect, like a week or two after the event ends, all of these prices will go right back up to the 1.3 billion. So if you're someone who wants to invest, I would invest in pretty much all of these, like, right now, that are, like, 1 billion, 1.1 billion, and then just hold on to them until they creep back up to like 1.3 billion. You'll make about 30% on your investment. So, not a bad way to make money if you've got some cash laying around. So that covers that. Let's have a look at the other part of the event here. The Interstellar... No, the regional tracking. Regional development. Regional development had a lot of really good items this time around. The keys were actually valuable this time around. The items that were provided, most of them were pretty good and hard to get items. Like these compressed nanites, the only other place to get them is from the Omega Duo bundle. What they will allow you to do is repackage your nanocores into a box form, and from that box form, you can choose a different ship nanocore. So, say you got one of these capital core supplies, and you ended up, like, you wanted to go with a cyan core. Well, down the line, you decide that you want to go for the Shanghai, but you don't want to get another nanocore. Well, you could repackage your nanocore, use those compressed nanites, put this back into the box form, and then you can choose the Shanghai, and that way you don't have to, that way you don't actually have to buy another nanocore. You can just kind of reset your progress and go for the Shanghai version of it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the regional development. You might have different things that you want to go for. And speaking of which, I kind of want to go for something here. Okay, got nothing worthwhile. Cool. On this character, I did get the standard core op supply, which gives you the option of Silver Waltz, Terminal Echo, Star Break, and Star Melody. My recommendations on this, Silver Waltz and Termina Echo are not that great, other than as a capital option. As a capital option, Silver Waltz allows you to get things for the, Force Auxiliary ships, as well as the freighters, and gives them the option of Sun Chaser. At least on the freighters, you can get Sun Chaser. Now, yeah, it is Silver Waltz that gives you Sun Chaser, if I remember correctly, on something like the Charon. Yep, Sun Chaser. So, very interesting. Having these remote repairs and shield repairs for the drones, quite powerful. Very good. These nanocores do not come around all that often. This is the first time we've seen Silver Waltz come back since its release, over 4 years ago at this point. So, really rare nanocore, get it. If you need it for your freighters or your Force Auxiliaries. Terminal Echo, this is the second time we've seen it. Actually, maybe the third time we've seen it since it's released last year. When the bomber battleships were released. Terminal Echo came out. I wouldn't say Termina Echo is great, other than for the Lucent Moon. You have 3 different Lucent Moon Termina Echoes, one for lightweight ships, one for fighters, and one for lodging. So if you have a Lucent Moon, Termina Echo is probably your best option if you are either a fighter or a lightweight ship. Lucent Moon, and maybe the Logi Lucent Moon. I think it's a pretty good option. But this brings us to the main thing here. This brings us to the main thing here, the Star Melody Battleship Box. Well, it's the Star Melody Core Op Supply. This will include Marshal and Force of Allegiance Pacifier and Faction Battleships. The only option I would recommend to you here is the Marshal. It is far and above better than any other Star Melody in the game. It is equivalent in capability to the capital ship Star Melodies. So let me pull one of those here. So let me find the capital ship Star Melody. We're going to use the Cyan as reference. And you'll see here that the battleship Marshal is getting the same exact bonuses as a capital ship. Now you might think, well, that's just normal, because Star Melody does damage like this. Not exactly. Let's move over to a standard battleship option. Let's take my Rattlesnake Cobra, for example. You'll see here now that the Marshal has double the capability in terms of range. It also gets 3 times the damage per tick at double the range. This is significant. For one standard battleship Star Melody, for one Marshal Star Melody, you would need 3 Rattlesnake Star Melodies to even come close to the damage capability of the Marshal. But you can only do that at half the range with 3 of them. Whereas Marshal is putting out double what 3 battleships have to get close with. So, if you're someone who's looking for a Star Melody Nanocore and your goal is the Marshal, which I think most people want a Marshal, the only exception to that would be drone pilots, because Marshal does not do drones. It has no drone capabilities. So I'm sorry to all you drone people, you got screwed. But, that being said, the Marshal's Star Melody is significantly more powerful than a standard battleship Star Melody. So do not be confused or make the mistake of choosing a standard battleship Star Melody thinking you're gonna have that incredible performance that you see from the Marshal. The Marshal is highly unique. So, what I have done personally is I have gone and purchased you've seen it earlier here, on all 3 of these characters, the alphas, to be exact. I have gone and purchased 2 keys. I rolled on the event. And funny enough, I actually got the Snow Shard core here. And I rolled to see what I would get. So 2 keys will allow you to roll 1 time completely. However, you can get lucky and not get the other set of keys, which you would need. But I got lucky on this character. With the 2 keys that I got, I ended up actually getting the battleship core, so awesome. That solved my issue on that character. The character down here in the bottom left, kinda got messed up luck, unfortunately. Like I said, I really don't like the Snow Shard core for its limitations. I would have rather had the 2 keys, so I'm gonna have to do another like $70 on this character to get the other 2 keys to guarantee my box. And this character also got unlucky and got standard General Nano Source 3s. This is the worst roll that you can get here in this region. These are completely useless to me right now. I really just don't care about it. So, I would have rather had the 2 keys. Let's have a look at the store here and see what I mean by the keys. This box will give you keys. You can buy 40 of them a day. 20 boxes. Let's find it here. Here you go. Opening up 20 boxes will grant you the Snowfall key. Just one of them. So expect to run into, like, bad luck here. I'm always expecting the Snowfall keys. You can also get some other good stuff here. But the main thing you want here is the keys. It's about $100 to get 2 keys. It's ridiculous. It is 2,000 Aurum to get 2 keys. So with those keys, you can go to the exchange store, and then you can go to Interstellar store. No. Regular sales? Where is it? Key exchange. There it is. It's under the bestseller combo. It's the key exchange. With that, 4 keys will give you that standard op supply for a battleship box. The only other, like, box that I would go with here would be the Starbreak box, but it doesn't go on everything, it just goes on the Enforcer, Pacifier, Marshal. That's why I'm not really recommending that one. If it went on other ships, I would recommend it, but it's just those 3. So, not even worth it. Especially when you can choose the Marshal Star Melody. So, this is where you'll use the keys, and that is the box that you want to get your Marshal Star Melody. Let's go ahead and undock our Cobra and our Marshal.
Undocking.
Yeah, they should have, like, super buffed the Cyan and Shanghai. That would have been funny. Alright, so let's get these 2 ships stopped. And I will actually zoom out here. We'll go to a full screen. Yes, alright. So we actually need to zoom out quite far here. So I have the tactical overlay showing my ship. Let me zoom out just a little bit further so we get the... Oh well. My ship here in the Marshall, right next to this Cobra. The Star Melody activation you see from the Marshall will extend all the way out to this 30-kilometer circle around me. Whereas the Cobra will only come out to this section right here. So it's not just double the size, it is actually a significant portion more area. I wish I had the actual calculation for pi r squared or whatever it is for the circumference and all that. And then I'd have to calculate the actual area. The distance between the maximum of the Marshall and the maximum of any other battleship is 15 kilometers on each side. So 30-kilometer distance in total difference. And let me show that to you. We're going to start with the melody from the Cobra. You'll see here. Kinda sits right at that middle ground between the 10 and the 20. Now let me actually zoom out here. And here comes the Marshalls. This is the difference between Cobra and Marshall. That's not just double the size. That is a significant amount more. And it has the same cooldown. Ah, yeah, it's too bad you're not gonna get your super core. It really sucks. And with that distance, you're also doing 3 times the damage per hit. Up to 10 targets every 3 seconds. It is absolutely absurd. I don't know what else to call it. But it is certainly impressive. So if you are looking for like a nanocore that you want to choose, you might be working toward like a Marshall. I do highly recommend that you do choose this nanocore because it is so broken on the Marshall, having the same size as a Cyan. Let me swap characters here. I'll jump in my Cyan real quick, and I will show you that it is the exact same size as the Cyan. My Cyan does run Star Melody. I got it a long time ago when Star Melody first came out, because I knew I would be using the Cyan for high-sec content like the current Sansha event.
Undocking.
And it has been very useful. So here we are outside of Gina once again. This time with my Cyan. Let me zoom out here. And we will activate the nanocore. And here we go. It is sitting right on that 30-kilometer range. That is the exact same size as the Marshalls. So, yeah, it is easily the best battleship nanocore that you can get for PvE. I gotta wait for the weapons timer to cool down. Here we go.
Docking request accepted.
So, yeah, if there's anything I can recommend beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is the Marshall Star Melody Core. On a capital ship, it's still good, but it's not quite the power spike as compared to having a battleship with the same capabilities. You're talking about, I showed off a video a while back of the Cyan completely wiping out an entire 5 million ISK wave, the last wave of a 5 million ISK lab, with just the Star Melody. The Marshall can do that. And it can do it way better because the Marshall can actually move around and keep targets within its circle. So, easily, if you have the option or the opportunity to get the Star Melody for the Marshall, I absolutely recommend doing it. There is no better choice than that. After that, it would be Starbreak for a capital ship, or Star Melody for a high-set capital ship. Both are very good options. I think Starbreak is going to be a little bit better for capital ships in general, just because it's an additional 1/3 of your health back at your time of choosing every 150 seconds. But I wanted to get this out there to give you an idea of why you would choose the Marshall Star Melody over any other battleship nanocore. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, and be safe.